I've made countless mistakes with my money. Some were so bad that it took me years to recover. So I wanted to share my worst mistakes to show that not everyone is perfect and to hopefully help someone else from making the same mistakes as me. Number 1, cash buffer. I feel like I talk about this a lot, but it's seriously the most important aspect of finance and building wealth. So my business partner and I found ourselves in a situation where we had to shut down our surfboard manufacturing business simply because we weren't getting enough work. And it was at this time where I realized how exposed I was, not only as a business owner, but as a property owner and father. Because not only was my business failing, but I owned the commercial property that we ran the business out of. And at this time, we had no retained earnings set aside for the business for the situation we were in. And I had no emergency fund for myself. I didn't even know if I knew what an emergency fund was, but I definitely realized very quickly that I needed money saved. This was a very big lesson learned because not only did I have to find a new job fast, because I had no savings, I also needed to clean the factory and get it ready to lease. This took 12 months and set me behind in paying my taxes, and for the next 5 years, I was left cleaning up the mess I had made on my financial situation. But it was at this low point in my life that I learned more about my finances and what not to do, which is always have a cash buffer set aside for any unexpected expenses or life events. And this brings me on to number 2, and that's relying on one job. Shutting down my business was a big wake-up call to not just rely on one job, because when I was jobless, I literally had to start over and figure out how and what I was going to do. I became so comfortable within my job and business that I just thought it would last forever. And this was a huge mistake, which is why I now have multiple jobs and backup plans for any situation. But obviously, not everyone can have multiple jobs. So it's important to have multiple streams or areas where you can generate income from. Once you work out how to do this, you can pivot into other areas of your business when things get tough. So for example, if you are a tattoo artist, you could look at making videos for YouTube and TikTok, showcasing your skills, or even doing educational content for aspiring tattoo artists. By doing this, you are not leaving yourself exposed in an economic downturn because you have multiple areas where you can invest your time and effort. Number 3, receiving bad advice. Early on, I was eager for advice on my financial journey, so I turned to those around me. Unfortunately, some of the people I sought guidance from weren't on a path aligned with my financial goals. They had good intentions, but their perspectives and strategies weren't conducive to building wealth. Instead of seeking advice from individuals who had successfully navigated the financial landscape, I ended up taking suggestions from well-meaning people in my circle, but unfortunately, they were facing their own financial challenges. Their advice, although coming from a place of care, didn't consider the bigger picture of my aspirations. I since learned the importance of seeking guidance from mentors or individuals who have achieved the financial success that I aspire to. It's crucial to surround yourself with people who understand your goals and can provide valuable insights based on their own successful experiences. So while it's great to seek advice, it's equally important to ensure that the advice comes from the right sources aligned with your financial objectives. Number 4, buying property uneducated. One of the most significant financial missteps I made was diving headfirst into purchasing a commercial property for my surfboard business without fully understanding the intricacies involved. At the time, the idea of having a dedicated space for my business seemed like a fantastic opportunity. However, my lack of knowledge about commercial property, strata fees, and proper expenses turned this venture into a financial nightmare. Firstly, I didn't fully grasp the nuances of commercial property transactions, the associated costs, potential pitfalls, and the market dynamics. This lack of understanding meant I ended up overpaying for the property, putting an immediate strain on my finances. Also, the introduction of strata fees blindsided me. I hadn't factored these recurring expenses into the monthly costs, and it took a toll on my cash flow. Managing these fees along with other unforeseen costs quickly depleted any financial cushion I had, leaving me in a precarious position. Also, the day-to-day operational costs of running the business within the property were higher than anticipated. In hindsight, it became painfully clear that I should have sought professional advice, thoroughly researched the commercial real estate landscape before making such a significant investment. This lack of education not only strained my financial resources, but also left me with a valuable lesson. Never underestimate the importance of being well informed, especially when venturing into unfamiliar territory. So if you're considering a similar move, take the time to educate yourself on the ins and outs of commercial property. Understand the associated fees and always have a robust financial plan in place to weather any unforeseen challenges. Number 5, not paying taxes. One of the most daunting chapters in my financial journey was falling behind on paying taxes, especially after my business took a hit. The aftermath of a failed business venture left me in a tight financial spot, and unfortunately paying taxes took a backseat. As the years went by, the backlog of unfiled tax returns and unpaid taxes piled up, creating a mountain of financial stress. Catching up on previous tax returns became a complex and time-consuming task. The taxman doesn't take kindly to overdue taxes, and the penalties and interest accrued faster than I could manage. To add to the pressure, I had to adapt to the reality of paying quarterly taxes on any new income generated. This meant allocating a significant portion of my earnings to taxes, leaving me with limited funds to cover personal and business expenses. The constant juggling act of settling previous tax debts while meeting current tax obligations took a toll on my mental health. The stress and the looming fear of financial consequences led to a sense of hopelessness and at times depression. It seemed like an endless cycle, and the idea of recovering from this financial setback felt like an impossible feat. It took 5 long years of disciplined work on myself, my financial situation, and gradually chipping away at the tax debt to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. This experience taught me the critical importance of staying on top of your tax responsibilities, even in the face of business challenges. If you're in a similar situation, don't underestimate the impact of timely tax payments. Seek professional advice, create a realistic plan to address outstanding tax issues, and most importantly, prioritize your mental well-being throughout the recovery process. It's a tough journey, but with dedication and the right strategy, you can overcome the financial setbacks and regain control of your fiscal future. Well, I hope you have learned something from today's video. And remember, no one's perfect, and even the most successful people make mistakes. Just make sure you learn from those mistakes and adapt to your own situation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.